Welcome to my channel, Purposeful Play, where I talk about all things early childhood education. And I'm Danielle, and I teach 4K in Wisconsin. And Happy New Year! It is 2021, and today I thought I would just share some thoughts and reflections on the year 2020 and talk to you a little bit about what my hopes are in the new year. So let's get started. All right, first, 2020. I know that, in the world, 2020 was a horrible, horrible year for so many reasons, and I agree, it really was. But personally, in my family, in my home, it wasn't all that bad. I know that, with work, I did not love the fact that I didn't get to say goodbye to my students from last year. I did not get to see that group of kids, their growth at the end of the year and how they were so ready for kindergarten, which was a real bummer. I love that time of year at the, April, May, June, where you really get to see how much they've changed, how much they've grown. I did not like that. I didn't get to say goodbye to those kids, and I had really grown to care for those kids. So that was a real bummer. Another thing that I haven't loved about this school year is the beginning of this year, we're still virtual. So we have started out virtual. We've continued up till now. And so I haven't met these students in person. I guess I've seen them kind of face to face in the backseat of a car when they've come to pick up supplies, but I haven't met any of my kids except for when I see them, about yay big on a screen. And while it was really difficult in the beginning to get to know these kids on a really personal level, I feel like I have started to. I guess I shouldn't say started to. I do. I feel like I know these kids. I feel like I know what their interests are. I feel like I know their families. I feel like where they are at developmentally and where I hope for them to be by the end of the school year. So, while I did not love the way this school year started, because we have been virtual, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. What else did I not love about it? At the beginning of the school year, some things that I always look forward to, I love setting up my classroom. And I started to, in hopes that we would go back to school in person toward the end of September, which we never did. So I left my classroom kind of in a disaster and I haven't done anything since. So that is always one of my favorite parts of the year, is that excitement and eagerness to go back to school. I love shopping for new school supplies, the new Sharpies and the Flair pens and the smelly markers for the kids and all that fun stuff. And I did not do any of that because there really was no point in doing it. And I'm trying to think what else. Meet the teacher. I love that meet the teacher night. Although we did do a kind of a virtual meet the teacher where I met with each family and the child for about 15 minutes each. And that was really good. I really enjoyed that time because usually we have a meet the teacher where all the families come in, between like say 4 and 6. And, sometimes you have one family at a time and sometimes you could have, 5. And so you don't really get a lot of time with each family. So I think for next year, I would like to do something similar where families come in one at a time and we get to chat about what their hopes are for the year and the interests of their students and where they see that their child has strengths or concerns that they have. So I think that that's something that, although it wasn't great that I didn't have the meet the teacher, it has kind of made me rethink about what I might want to do for next year. So far, those are the things that I haven't loved about this school year. I know that this year has challenged me in a way that I have not been challenged before. And I felt like I was to a point where teaching in person it wasn't, I wouldn't say easy, but I kind of was in a groove and I was really enjoying that. So this has really challenged me in thinking outside the box on how I can make this learning purposeful, developmentally appropriate and play-based. And I think we're there. I think we've kind of come to a spot where we are doing the best we can, and families are happy, kids are happy, and they are learning and growing. So that's been good. It has been challenging for me for the technology stuff, learning new programs, learning how to share out stuff to kids that is easy for them to manipulate and work through. But as hard as it has been, I have learned a lot, and for that I am really thankful. Another thing that I have actually really loved about this year is that I've had a lot more time with my family. I've had a lot more time with my pets. I'm talking about my family that's in my home, because actually all of my family lives in Canada. Unfortunately, I did not get to visit them this summer, but my sister lives in Illinois, so we have had a few times where this summer we got to get together and kayak and do a lot of outdoor stuff. We did have a little Christmas get together where we sat in a parking lot with blankets, multiple blankets, and visited. So I did get to see my family that way. But my family that's in my home, my husband and my 2 kids, I had a lot of really great time with them this summer. We got a puppy, which we really wouldn't have done if it was regular, normal times, because we had so much time at home all together that we had a lot of time to train a puppy, and it made it easy. So that I am very thankful for. I did a lot of gardening this summer, and I had help from my husband, and we worked through that together and planned and did it all together. So that was really great. Of course, another thing that I am loving right now is my work wardrobe. A lot of leggings, a lot of fuzzy slippers, not a lot of fancy clothes. It's all comfy, and I love that. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go back to work, but you know what, really, I actually don't ever get all that dressed up. I mean, I do put on a bra and shoes, so that might be a little different, but I'm gonna still keep it comfy. So that was my 2020. And 2021 started 5 days ago. I think it's January 5th. And on February 1st, we should be going back to school in person, if all goes well. Although it's funny, I remember saying that in one of my videos in September. If all goes well, I did a little finger cross, we're gonna be going back on this date. No, that never happened. So February 1st, we should be going back in person. We really should be going back. I have 2 classes. I will have 1 class in person in the mornings, and then I'll have another class that has, their families have decided to remain virtual all year long. And so I will continue with that group of kids. I'll gain a few in that class, and I'll lose a few in that class because they're switching models. But I am really looking forward to being back in person. And I can't wait to see these kids and meet these kids that we've been talking to all year long and working with. And I just am so excited to see what they're like in person. We're gonna start our year off, I think, well, I shouldn't say start our year off, because we have already started a year. When we go back in person, we're gonna do some of the things from the beginning of the year study, from the creative curriculum, because we skipped a lot of that because we weren't in person. So we're gonna go back and work on some of those things that we missed or we passed over, I guess. I don't know what our study will be. We usually take some time to get to know the kids those first several weeks to see what they're really interested in, and then we decide what our next study will be. I'm hoping I can kind of coordinate what I'm doing in person with the virtual students so that I can maybe make it a little bit less work for me. I don't know. I'm actually not really even sure how I'm gonna handle all of this, but I can do it. And then I hope coming up that I will have more videos of class activities, classroom in-person activities, but I'll keep up with the virtual stuff too, because I know a lot of you are still teaching virtually as I will be as well. So I'll try to do both. Hopefully, I'm gonna be crazy busy, but I'll do my best. I don't usually set New Year's resolutions. I like to kind of set an intention at the beginning of the school year and 2019, I had 3 words, and they were courage and confidence and vulnerability. And I focused on those 3 things all year long. Being new in a new school district, a new city, a new state, I knew that I had to have that confidence and the courage to speak up and share what I thought was right and what I wanted to see in my classroom, and also the courage and confidence to say, hey, what I'm doing is maybe not the best thing. Let's share your idea. Let's work on your idea. And then that vulnerability to be okay with all of it. So my word this year, I picked one, and it was self. And it really didn't have a lot to do, well, I guess it kind of did, with school, but I am kind of one who does everything for everybody else. You know, the mask comes down in the airplane, you're supposed to put it on yourself first. Well, I put it on, you know, my kids and my husband and probably everybody in the whole plane before I would even think to put it on myself. So that is my word for this year, and I've been doing okay so far. I've been really trying to make sure that I do my yoga every day. I go for walks. I do the things that I enjoy. You would be shocked to actually see my room right now. Once I'm done, I'm going to turn this around and show you because I am doing some fun crafty stuff, which is for myself and something that I enjoy. So while I love doing for others, I really need to also do for myself. Let me pause so I can show you my craft room. It's so embarrassing. But when my craft room is messy, that means that I'm actually being crafty. So when it's tidy, that means I'm not doing anything. So check this out. Okay, here is the state of my craft room. When I close the door here, this little string here pulls tight because I'm working on a fabric, I don't know if you call it banner or bunting. It's actually for my classroom, so it's not really for myself, but I want to get it ready and done by the time we go back in person in February. So it's going to be red and green and yellow and blue for our superhero themed classroom, and it's going to go along the top of our whiteboard, and I think I'll make one for above the window as well. Yeah, this is the state of and then of course my table with all kinds of stuff all over it. But you know what? I know that when it's messy, I am being creative. And I wanted to just take a minute to say thank you. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. Thank you for your suggestions on videos and questions that you've asked, and even ideas that you've shared with me. I have been wanting to do this for a long time and to share my ideas with other people, not for money, not for fame, not for anything like that, but just because I love what I do so much, and I think that it's really important to share what we love. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am having a lot of fun, and I hope you're enjoying it too. If you want to see my next video, which I've had a couple of suggestions, so I'm going to be working on those. Give it, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Give this one a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day.